It was supposed to be a day of pride. The morning of January 26, 2025, began like any other Republic Day in India. Flags ready to be hoisted, parades lining up, school children dressing up in patriotic colors. But while the rest of the country was preparing to celebrate the 76th Republic Day, a horrifying discovery in the early hours of dawn turned the atmosphere in Delhi's Ghazipur district into a crime scene straight out of a nightmare. Around 4 a.m., the Delhi Police Control Room received a call that sounded too bizarre to be true. A local informant claimed a suitcase had been found burning near the IFC Paper Market, between Shivaji Road and Ambedkar Chowk, and that it seemed to contain human remains. Within minutes, the information was escalated to Ghazipur Police Station. SO Nirmal Jha, a seasoned officer with years of field experience, didn't waste a second. He and his team rushed to the scene, unaware they were about to walk into one of the most baffling murder cases the city had seen in years. When they arrived, a crowd had already gathered. The air was thick with smoke and curiosity. Even though dawn had barely broken, word had spread like wildfire. Locals stood silently, eyes glued to the smoldering suitcase, their faces reflecting a blend of fear and disbelief. Sho Jha ordered everyone to step back as his team cordoned off the area. He approached the half-burnt suitcase cautiously. Its steel handles glistened in the dim light, mostly untouched by the fire. But what lay inside was far more disturbing. The smell of burnt flesh was unmistakable. Inside the charred suitcase was the blackened, deformed body of a woman. The corpse had been forcefully stuffed into the confined space, and the heat had distorted it beyond easy recognition. Yet, the shape and structure told officers that the victim was young, likely in her 20s. It wasn't just a murder. It was a deliberate attempt to erase someone, completely. There were no immediate clues at the site. No ID, no belongings, not even fingerprints left behind. Whoever had done this was either a professional or incredibly desperate. But just when hope seemed to flicker, Sho Jha's eyes locked onto something small, yet potentially game-changing, a CCTV camera on a pole just meters away. It was facing the entrance of the market. If they were lucky, it might have captured the person who dumped the suitcase. By now, the scene had attracted the attention of senior officers. DCP Abhishek Danya arrived moments later. He observed the charred remains and the suitcase closely. His sharp instincts were already forming theories. "Looks like someone close to the victim," he murmured. "A husband or a lover, perhaps. Someone who wanted to erase her identity." Sho Jha nodded. "Sir, I believe the killer is local. With security tight around the city for Republic Day, no outsider would risk transporting a body. All checkpoints are heavily monitored. Only someone from around here would know how to avoid being caught." The DCP agreed. "Start the forensic analysis immediately. Send the body for post-mortem. This case is yours now, Sho Jha. I want results. Treat it as a blind murder, but I don't expect it to stay blind for long." As the forensics team got to work, Jha turned to the crowd. "Did anyone see anything unusual last night?" Most shook their heads, but then a middle-aged man stepped forward. "Sir, I think I saw the fire around 1:30 or 2 a.m., he said hesitantly. "I had gone to the rooftop for a quick toilet break. That's when I saw flames coming from the trash pile. I thought it was just someone burning garbage again. It happens a lot here. So I went back to sleep." Jha's ears perked up. "What time exactly did you see it?" The man pulled out his phone. "When I came back to bed, it was 1:50 a.m. That was it. A rough time window. The suitcase must have been dumped and set on fire sometime between 1:30 and 2 a.m. Forensics completed their initial analysis, and the burnt remains were sent to Lal Bahadur Shastri Hospital for post-mortem. SHO Jha ordered an officer to stay with the body and returned to the police station, already strategizing the next move. The case was now officially filed under Sections 1031 and 238A. With DCP Danya's orders, a special investigative team was formed, and the CCTV footage from the market was pulled immediately. Hours of video from nearby cameras were scanned meticulously. Several scooters and small cars passed through the area during the estimated time. Most were ruled out, but one vehicle stood out, a Hyundai Verna that appeared in the footage around 1:40 a.m. It slowed down near the trash pile. The license plate was clearly visible. Using the automatic number plate recognition system, the team quickly traced the car's registration. It led them to a man living in Lani, Uttar Pradesh, but he wasn't the driver. "I sold that car a while ago," he told the officers. "The new owner is someone named Amit Tiwari. He drives it as a cab now." The team obtained Amit's registered address. It was on Mangal Bazaar Road in Koda Colony, just a stone's throw from where the burnt suitcase had been found. That couldn't be a coincidence. By the time police reached his residence, Amit Tiwari was already packing a bag, trying to flee. As soon as he saw the officers at his door, color drained from his face. What's going on?" he stammered. SHO Jha stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "Going somewhere, Amit." "How do you know my name?" Amit asked, trembling. "We know more than just your name," Jha said, eyes locked on the suspect. "We know about the suitcase, the fire, and the woman you tried to erase." Amit's hands shook. "I don't know what you're talking about." Jha didn't need a confession right then. He gave a silent nod. Officers moved in and placed Amit under arrest. As he was being taken away, his alibi crumbled. His car was on CCTV, and the evidence was stacking up. The real question now was, who was the woman? Why did he kill her? They say the worst betrayals come from those closest to us. But what if the one you trust the most not only breaks your heart, but ends your life and tries to erase your existence completely? That haunting question loomed inside the interrogation room as Amit Tiwari sat handcuffed, staring at the cold floor beneath his feet, knowing his web of lies was unraveling faster than he ever imagined. Back at the Ghazipur police station, SHO Nirmal Jha watched Amit closely. The young man looked terrified, but not broken, yet. The room was silent except for the whirring of the fan above, spinning slowly, almost taunting him. Amit's clothes were slightly damp with sweat. His hands fidgeted. His eyes darted around the room. He was clearly battling his own conscience. Jha leaned forward. "We know your car was at the scene. We know the suitcase was burning by 1:50 a.m. You were seen near your apartment packing. Are you really going to keep lying?" At first, Amit remained tight-lipped, but the pressure was mounting. The officers began laying out each piece of evidence, timelines, location data, CCTV images. Every move he'd made was now documented. There was nowhere left to hide. And then he broke. With trembling lips and tear-filled eyes, Amit whispered the words that shifted the entire investigation. "Yes, I did it. I killed her." The room froze. Jha remained calm but leaned in closer. "Who was she, Amit? And why?" Amit let out a choked sob before he began. "Her name was Shilpa. She was my cousin, my uncle's daughter. She came to stay with me in November, said she wanted to live freely away from her controlling family. I didn't think much of it at first. But then, we got close. Too close. He paused, breathing hard. We started living together. She was older than me, 3 years older. At first, it was fun. But then she started talking about marriage, every day. She said she'd file a rape case against me if I refused. She wasn't bluffing. I got scared. I didn't love her. I never wanted to marry her. The officers listened in stunned silence. Amit's calm, unraveling confession sent a chill through the room. Last Saturday night, he continued, we argued again. She said she would destroy me if I didn't agree to marry her. I lost control. I strangled her in a fit of rage. I didn't plan it, but once she was dead, I knew I couldn't hide it forever. Shoja asked softly. And then? The suitcase? The fire? Amit nodded slowly. After killing her, I panicked. I called my friend, Anuj Sharma. He's the only one I could trust. He came immediately. When I showed him the body, he didn't scream. He didn't judge. He just said, "We need to get rid of it." Ja's brows furrowed. "He helped you?" "Yes," Amit nodded. "He came up with the idea of using the big suitcase I had. We stuffed the body inside and locked it. He said we should take it far away, maybe throw it into a river somewhere. But with Republic Day coming up, there were checkpoints everywhere. We got stopped twice, just scouting the route. We panicked. So, instead of taking it far," Ja said grimly, "you brought it close." Amit looked ashamed. "We thought Ghazipur would be quiet at night. The trash area was always deserted. We poured diesel over it and lit the fire. Then we just left." He went home. I went home. I thought it would be over. But the next day, I knew I couldn't run forever. By now, Ja had heard enough. But the case had just taken a darker turn. There wasn't just one killer, there were two. And the second one, Anuj Sharma, was still free. Within the hour, a team raided Anuj Sharma's address, House D1662, Karan Vihar, Kota Colony. Anuj was found at home, pretending like nothing had happened. But his face turned pale the moment officers said the words "suitcase murder." He didn't resist arrest. He knew the moment had arrived. Back at the station, Anuj sat where Amit had hours earlier. He tried to stay silent, but it was no use. When confronted with Amit's confession, he sighed heavily. "Yes, I helped him," he admitted. "But I didn't kill her. I just helped get rid of the body." He paused, and then added something that made the room tense again. "But I warned him. I told him this wouldn't end well." Ja asked, "Then why did you help him?" Anuj looked him straight in the eyes. "Because he was my best friend. He said he was in trouble. I thought I could help him clean up a mess. I didn't think it would go this far." Ja shook his head slowly. "A girl is dead, Anuj, burned, forgotten. Because of what? Your friendship?" Anuj looked down. He had no answer. Meanwhile, police dug deeper into Shilpa's background. Her family lived in Gautam Buddha Nagar, Uttar Pradesh. Her father worked in Surat, Gujarat. She had gone missing in November 2024, but no FIR had been filed. Her family thought she had run away. They had no idea she had moved in with her cousin. When officers called them with the news, they were shattered. Shilpa's mother collapsed. Her father, sobbing over the phone, asked just one question. Why didn't she come home? Why didn't we know? The post-mortem confirmed strangulation as the cause of death. Burn injuries were post-mortem, confirming Amit's confession. The suitcase was traced to Amit's apartment. Diesel was found at a nearby gas station. CCTV showed both boys buying it that night. The evidence was complete. The puzzle was solved. But the scars it left would never fade. As police prepared to present both accused to DCP Abhishek Danya, the media had already picked up whispers of the Suitcase Republic Day murder. It was gruesome, sensational, but it also spoke of something far more disturbing: how obsession, entitlement, and emotional manipulation could lead to irreversible tragedy. The case had moved fast. Within 24 hours, police had cracked what seemed like an impossible mystery. DCP Danya praised SHO Jha and the special staff for their swift action. In a press conference, he announced the arrests of Amit Tiwari and Anuj Sharma. Both were sent to judicial custody. The court proceedings would follow, but justice, it seemed, had taken its first step. It was over. The culprits had confessed. The murder weapon, the suitcase, was found. The motive had been explained, the body identified. But somehow the air in Ghazipur still felt heavy, the kind of weight that lingers long after the crime is solved. Because this story wasn't just about a murder, it was about the silences that build inside homes, the emotions left unsaid, and the truth that burns slower than fire. At Lal Bahadur Shastri Hospital, Shilpa's body, now cold and wrapped in white cloth, was released to her devastated family. Her father had returned from Surat as soon as he heard the news. His hands trembled as he signed the paperwork. Her mother stood lifeless beside him, unable to process how her daughter's life had ended, stuffed into a suitcase and set ablaze by someone they had trusted as family. As they took her home to perform her last rites, the question hanging in the air was no longer who did it, but how did it come to this? The police investigation was wrapping up quickly. Both Amit and Anuj were sent to Tihar jail. The court ordered them to be held under judicial custody until the trial began. Charges under IPC Sections 302, murder, 201, destruction of evidence, and 120B, criminal conspiracy, were filed. The prosecution built a strong case based on their confessions, CCTV footage, forensic evidence, and witness statements. It was open and shut, legally speaking. But for SHO Nirmal Jha, the case didn't feel finished. Late one evening, he sat back in his office, staring at the case file. There was something about Shilpa's story that still felt unfinished. She wasn't just a body in a suitcase. She was a young woman, confused, desperate, in love, and ultimately betrayed. Why hadn't anyone seen her pain? He called her father the next day and asked gently, "Was Shilpa unhappy at home?" There was a pause on the other end of the line. Then came a shaky reply. "We never really asked, sir. We thought we were protecting her. Maybe she didn't feel heard." Her mother added, "She always said she wanted to study, move to the city, do something of her own. But we kept telling her, girls don't live alone. Girls don't make such choices. Maybe that's why she left." And in those words, the unspoken truth began to emerge. Shilpa wasn't just a victim of murder. She was a victim of circumstance, of loneliness, of societal expectations that boxed her in, just like the suitcase that became her coffin. In her last few months, Shilpa had taken a risk. She trusted Amit. She ran away from home hoping for freedom, maybe even love. But she walked into a trap instead, one built not out of chains, but emotional manipulation. Amit had never loved her, but he also never said it out loud. He used her until she became inconvenient. And when she asked for commitment, he saw her as a threat, not a person. The final truth came from Anuj during a second round of questioning. She wasn't threatening him with just a case, he said. She had evidence, screenshots, messages, videos. She said she'd expose everything to the family and police if he backed out. Jha asked. "Did you ever meet her?" Anuj nodded. "Once. She didn't seem dangerous, just scared. She cried a lot. I told Amit to just talk to her, explain things, but he wouldn't listen. He was terrified she'd ruin his life. And so, in fear of losing his reputation, Amit chose to end hers." The story shocked the city. News channels dubbed it the Republic Day Suitcase murder. Social media was filled with debates, some sympathizing with the girl, others blaming her for crossing limits. But buried beneath all that noise was one truth no one could deny. 2 lives were destroyed, but only one was burned. DCP Abhishek Dania held a final press briefing. This case was solved within 24 hours, thanks to swift action, teamwork, and public cooperation. But let this also be a wake-up call. Communication, awareness, and emotional support matter. Sometimes, ignoring someone's mental state can be just as fatal as a weapon. As time passed, the city moved on, but not everyone could forget. The rooftop witness, the middle-aged man who saw the fire, stopped going up at night. Shilpa's parents withdrew from public life. Even Jha found himself more quiet, more reflective. The suitcase was placed in police archives, but its image stayed burned in the minds of those who saw it. On paper, the case was closed, but in truth, it never really was. Because Shilpa's story was not unique. There are countless Shilpas, girls who run, who trust, who love blindly, and fall victim to those who never valued them. And there are countless Amits, boys taught to suppress, escape, and erase instead of confronting their mistakes. In the end, Shilpa got no justice, just punishment delivered to her killers. She was silenced forever. Her story now told by others, police, reporters, and strangers online. But maybe, in telling it, she lives again. Maybe, in hearing it, another Shilpa somewhere chooses a safer path. Maybe someone speaks up or listens. And maybe next time, the signs won't be ignored. The city, the system, the people, everyone had learned something. But as this story ends, one question remains. If Shilpa had lived, would anyone have believed her before it was too late?